So I'm going to talk to you all about how I failed as a financial coach. Wow, I can't believe I actually just said that out loud. But yes, I failed as a financial coach. I was a financial coach for a few years, and I've just come to the realization that it hasn't worked out the way I wanted it to. And there's a number of reasons why that's happened. And I'm going to be going through that and deep diving into that during the course of this episode. Hello and welcome to Not Another Money Podcast. Why is it called Not Another Money Podcast, you may be wondering? It's because this is not your typical money show. Get ready for real money conversations and lessons, expert insights from some of our very special guests, and hear some really inspiring stories from everyday people. On this podcast, you're going to learn how to earn more, how to spend less, how to grow the difference, and ultimately live your best financial life. So hello and welcome to episode number 1 of Not Another Money Podcast. I'm so happy to have you here. So my name is Tolu Frimpong and I'm a finance content creator. I'm a mother of 4 boys and a wife to 1. And I decided to start this podcast to basically share a bit of my financial journey and also hear the journeys and stories of other people who are trying to win with their money. Everyday people like yourself and myself that are really trying to make it with their personal finances in one way or the other, whether it's paying down debt, whether it's starting a side hustle, building a business, or just really trying to manage your finances. I really want to put a spotlight on some of those stories in order to inspire you on your own financial journey and to help you ultimately get better with your money too. I really did think long and hard about what I wanted episode 1 of the podcast to be about, because there's so much that I want to talk about. There's so many topic areas that I want to speak on, and I was just like, where should I start from for episode 1? And I thought it would be good to kind of share a bit of my story. I guess a little bit of openness and a bit of transparency helps to build relationships and rapport, right? So I thought, let me start with my story in the hope that it will make you feel more comfortable about opening up about your own story as well. And hopefully you can take some lessons from this episode, be inspired by this episode, and really just make you think twice about some of the decisions you're making when it comes to your finances, or just about how you're showing up for yourself when it comes to your finances and your career, your business, and your life as a whole. For episode 1, I thought I would do a bit of a deep dive into my experience as a financial coach. So I'm going to talk to you all about how I failed as a financial coach. Wow, I can't believe I actually just said that out loud. But yes, I failed as a financial coach. I was a financial coach for a few years, and I've just come to the realization that it hasn't worked out the way I wanted it to. And there's a number of reasons why that's happened. And I'm going to be going through that and deep diving into that during the course of this episode. So definitely stay tuned if you want to hear a bit more about that story and how I came to that conclusion that I failed as a financial coach. I'm sharing that story in the hope that it will help one of the listeners to avoid some of the pitfalls that I fell into, some of the mistakes I made, and make you think twice about where you are right now in your business, if you have one, or in your career, or just in life as a whole. It might make you reflect on where you are and maybe think about making different decisions moving forward as we enter into the second half of the year. It's funny because this episode is actually going live on my birthday. So happy birthday to me. I am officially 38 years old. I can't believe I've just said that out loud on the internet, but it is what it is. I am 38 years young, and yeah, I've lived a lot of life and I've experienced a lot. I've learned a lot along the way. And as we go further on in this podcast, as we do more episodes, I definitely will share a lot more about my story. But the purpose of this conversation anyway is to talk about how I failed as a financial coach. So in today's episode, I'm going to do a little bit of a story time and share how I failed as a financial coach, some of the reasons why I think it didn't work out, some of the lessons that I learned, and some of the lessons that you can take away from my story so that you can avoid a similar fate. So please do like and subscribe to my channel if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening on Spotify or any other streaming platform, then please do leave a review, give it a 5-star, leave a comment, tell me what you liked about the episode. And without further ado, let's jump into my story. Like I said before, I failed as a financial coach. Yes, I've said it out loud now. It didn't work out the way I anticipated that it would, and I believe there are a number of reasons for that. So just before I dive into those reasons for why I don't think it worked out, I think it's important to kind of give you a bit of context and a little bit of a backstory as to how I even became a financial coach. I started my platform back in 2018 to document and share my journey to financial freedom. So back then I was actually on a digital detox. So I had done a 21-day digital detox where I was off Instagram, off YouTube, off WhatsApp even, and I just literally went ghost. At that time, I was pregnant with my third son, and I just was really thinking about life and just thinking about the fact that I was just so consumed with what other people were doing, and my time just wasn't my own. I felt like I spent so much time doom scrolling on the internet, and I wasn't really showing up for myself and being intentional about the things that I wanted out of my life. Obviously, I'm in a position now where I'm pregnant, I'm expecting a third child, and I'm thinking, okay, what am I actually doing with my life? Like, I can't just keep having babies and not have a plan for these babies that I'm having. So I decided to do that digital detox and just come away from the noise, basically block out all the noise and just really come into more alignment with myself and really think about what it is that is important to me. Obviously, my family is important to me and my faith is important to me, but what else do I want to do with my life? And during that digital detox, I was able to actually have that alone time with myself, and I was really able to seek God about my life and my future and what I want to do. And it was during that 21-day digital detox that I was inspired to actually start my platform, because I was really thinking about how can I make extra money on the side in order to supplement this statutory maternity pay that I was about to start receiving. What could I do to make extra money to support my family, but also still be at home for my family? So not having to take on an extra job, for example, while I was off on maternity leave. So during that time, I was thinking, okay, what am I going to do to make extra money on the side? What am I going to do to support my family? What do I actually want to do with my life beyond just having all these babies? So during that time, I just was really reflective. And like I said, I did that 21-day digital detox, which just was life changing. I would definitely say if you've never done a digital detox, to do it. It is a game changer. For me, it transformed my life. It just made me see things so differently. And for the first time in a long time, I was able to think for myself and I was able to hear myself thinking, if that makes sense. So whereas before I was just constantly distracted. So for example, if I'm queuing up at a post office, I would be waiting on my phone, scrolling on Instagram. I wouldn't just stand there and just think. I would find something to distract myself. During that time when I did that digital detox, I was able to be alone with my thoughts, like I said, and I was really thinking about what I want to do. What is my next move going to be? And that's when I got the inspiration to start a blog. I had done a lot of research about different side hustles, things that you could do to make money on the side, etc. And blogging seemed to be a really popular idea for making additional streams of income. And at that time, I had recently achieved debt freedom. So my husband and I had acquired over £36,000 worth of debt and subsequently paid that debt off. And during that time of achieving debt freedom was when I had this digital detox. So the idea to now document my journey to financial freedom since becoming debt free was birthed during that season. So during that 21-day detox, I decided actually I'm going to start a blog and I'm going to document my journey to financial freedom, because now I've come to the other side of achieving debt freedom. The next step is now I want to be financially free. I want to be able to live life on my own terms. I want my time to be my own. So I decided, yeah, I'm going to start this blog and I'm going to document my financial freedom journey. So all the side hustles that I was going to try at the time, I was going to document it on my blog and on my Instagram page and just kind of bring people along on that journey. I thought it would be a good way for me to be accountable to others about the financial goals I was setting for myself. And it would also give me that motivation that I needed to continue on that path to financial freedom, because when you're in debt and you're trying to pay off debt, that gives you a focus, that gives you a drive, that gives you a goal that you're working towards. But once you become debt free, finding that motivation within to still stay with those financial disciplines that you had developed can be very challenging. And I knew that about myself. Old habits really do die hard, and I didn't want to fall into the same traps that I was in before. So I started this blog, I started this Instagram page to kind of share my journey, surround myself with other like-minded people that were also trying to get good with money, that were paying off debt or working towards financial freedom, working towards mortgage freedom, etc. And it was really great. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed blogging about my financial journey. I enjoyed blogging about things that I was learning, tips and tricks that had helped me on my debt-free journey. I enjoyed sharing that with other people on my platform. And I did that for a few years. So I did that from 2018 to 2019. In 2019, actually, at the end of 2019 is when I started my YouTube channel. So if you're watching me on YouTube, yes, I've been on this platform since late 2019. And then at the end of 2019, like I said, I started the YouTube channel and I started documenting my journey to financial freedom in video form. Now, when I started my blog, I would have started the YouTube at the same time. But at that time, I just didn't have the confidence to be putting myself on video like that. So it took me about a year of blogging to finally muster up the courage to start my YouTube channel. you was to scroll all the way back on my YouTube channel and go to the first video I uploaded, you will see that I literally just recorded it in one take and uploaded it. At the time, I had no editing experience. I didn't have a clue what I was doing, but I was like, no, I'm just going to do it and start and then get better as time goes on. And that's exactly what I did. I just recorded the video in one take, uploaded it. Once it was out there, I couldn't retract it and backstep. So I just had to learn how to edit videos as time went on. And obviously fast forward until today, I've uploaded so many videos and I've got a lot better at recording and editing YouTube videos. So I've kind of taken that same approach with this podcast. Yes, this is only episode number 1, but I'm hoping fast forward episode 100, you're going to see a stark difference in the quality of the episodes. And that's the thing. You have to get better as time goes on. The more you practice, the better you get at a certain skill. So I can't expect my podcast to be as great as some of the well-established ones. I could just start where I am with what I have and grow from there. So let that be a lesson to you as well. If there's something you want to start that you're thinking, oh, I'm not the expert at it yet, or I'm not great at it yet, just start where you are with what you have, and then you can grow from there. But anyway, I digressed a little bit from the initial story that I was sharing. So back to the story. Once I'd established my YouTube channel and my blog, and I'd been posting frequently about personal finances online, sharing my journey, sharing my wins, sharing my highs, sharing my lows, sharing how I was doing with my finances. At the time, I was documenting my mortgage-free journey. So I was documenting how much mortgage overpayments I was making. I was sharing all the different side hustles I was doing at the time, how much extra money I was able to make on the side. And I think the more I was sharing that, the more it was attracting the attention of people that wanted to do similar things. I was then starting to get contacted by people that wanted help with their personal finances, that wanted to start budgeting, that wanted to start paying off debt, etc. And then I think also at the time I was watching what my peers were doing online as well. The financial community online in terms of personal finances is amazing. Like there's some amazing content creators out there that are financial advisors, that are financial coaches, that are financial experts, and they share their expertise. And what I started doing as time went on is I started watching what other people were doing, and I started comparing my content to theirs and comparing my journey to theirs and taking inspiration from them. After a while, it was not even just inspiration, it started to become imitation. So I was just literally copying what I was seeing work for other people. And as time went on, I felt like I was losing my identity, losing my voice, and losing the purpose of the platform that I built in order to pursue what other people were doing, in order to experience the same success that they were experiencing. So I just lost sight of my initial vision. I lost sight of what I was doing the platform for, what my purpose was with the platform, and I kind of just got swayed by what I was seeing other people doing and also by what other people had expected of me. So as my platform grew and I started getting all the attention and people were asking me for help with their personal finances, at that same time what was also happening is I was starting to get invitations to speak as a financial expert at various events. So I started doing these online events where I was speaking to various audiences about personal finances. I was doing corporate events, I was doing events for churches, I was doing events for other businesses. I was also invited onto a number of podcasts to talk about various money topics and to also share my financial journey. And I feel like the thing just kind of spiraled out of control, and I ended up down a path that I hadn't initially anticipated going down. And I mean, that would be great if it was in alignment with myself and what I wanted to do. But after a while, it began to grate on me. It's like the cat was out of the bag. That's not the right analogy I'm looking for, but it was like basically the horse had bolted. That's a better analogy. I can't even say the word. That's a better analogy of what had happened. It's like the horse had bolted and I couldn't catch it. So I was just being dragged along, basically doing what was expected of me, doing what people perceived me to do rather than what I actually wanted to do. Hopefully that's making a bit of sense, but that's kind of what was happening over the last few years. So because I'd built this platform in a way that, you know, I'm now this financial expert, people have these expectations of me, people expect me to be a certain way, and it wasn't really what I wanted to do. Like, if I'm honest, I'm not that passionate about numbers. Like, I'm not a numbers person. When you speak to people in the personal finance spaces, most of them are good with numbers. They love numbers. They're passionate about numbers. I'm more of a speaker. I'm more of a talker. So that part of the job I loved, I enjoyed, I thrived in. Like speaking to people, having those one-to-one sessions, just having those conversations and helping them experience those transformations. Those were the things that I really enjoyed and I was really passionate about. But the actual numbers, sitting down looking at spreadsheets, I don't even like looking at my own budget spreadsheet, let alone looking at somebody else's. And I think I just continued to do it because I was good at it and I was getting paid for it. But it wasn't where my passion really lied. And because of that, I wasn't able to fully commit in the way that I probably should have in order to realize all the potential that the business had. Because I wasn't giving it my all, I wasn't able to grow it in the way that I should have grown it. Hopefully, what I'm saying is making some sense to you as you're going along my story, because I realize I'm just talking and I'm like, it makes sense to me, but hopefully it's making sense to you as a listener. I think just to bring it all back together and tie it all in and make it make sense, I think fundamentally the biggest issue I had with being a financial coach was I was doing what other people expected me to do and not necessarily what I wanted to do. So like I said, I started my platform to document my financial freedom journey. And then as time went on, I went from sharing my financial journey with others to now helping people physically with their own financial journeys. Whereas what I wanted to do is kind of share my journey, and then you can use the lessons from my journey to help you on your own, as opposed to now being that person to do it for you. Not really do it for you, but you know what I mean, as in hold your hand on that journey, be your coach, be your, cheerleader, work with people on a one-on-one basis. That's just, yeah, it wasn't what I wanted to do, but it's what I felt like I needed to do or had to do, because that's what was expected as the next journey. And then when I look beyond myself at my peers and what they're doing and the steps that they're all taking now, the next step after financial coaching would be possibly to become a financial advisor. I don't want to be a financial advisor. Like, that's not what I want to do. And that's not what my passion is. So for me, I just had to really sit down and be honest with myself and really just check in with myself and be like, actually, Tolu, what is it that you want to do? What is it that you're passionate about? What is the value you want to bring to your audience? What is the value that you want to bring to the world? What is your strength? What is your weakness? What are you good at? What actually lights you up? What do you enjoy doing? And just lean more into that and take that pressure off yourself to make a business out of something that you don't necessarily want to do, but you feel like you have to do because it's working. But actually be honest with yourself and do what your heart desires, basically, and what you're passionate about. I know that sounds like such a privileged thing to say, and to be honest, it is, because I mean, I have a 9 to 5 job, so I have income coming in from there. So I have that liberty where I can be like, actually, as my side project and my passion project, I'm going to do what lights me up, what I really enjoy, what I can do without getting paid, what makes me happy, what makes me smile. And what I'm doing right now is making me happy. Like, literally starting this podcast, it's something that I've wanted to do for so many years. Like, you wouldn't believe it. You would believe it if you follow my platform, or you will follow my platform back in 2020 when I was doing an Instagram live series called T Money Talks. I was having real conversations with people about money, speaking to other financial experts, learning from them, gleaming from them, being inspired by them, and inspiring my audience. And that is what I loved most about everything I've done over the last few years. It was having those conversations about money, really sharing what I've learned with other people and hearing how other people are making it happen for themselves and for their families. Like, that literally lit me up. And that's the kind of content that I want to create moving forward. And that's what I plan to do with this podcast. So like I said, the title is not another money podcast, because it's not going to be your typical money podcast.